Gaius Julius Caesar Augustus Germanicus, also known as Caligula, is perhaps the most infamous of all the Roman emperors. His reign was marked by scandal, cruelty, and extravagance, and he has been the subject of fascination and horror ever since. This paper will explore the dark legacy of Caligula, examining his life, his reign, and the enduring myths and legends that surround him. Early life. Caligula was born in AD 12 to Germanicus and Agrippina the Elder, members of the imperial family. His father was a popular general and hero of Rome, and Caligula was raised in the military camps where his father served. He acquired his famous nickname, which means little boots, from the soldiers who would dress him in miniature military garb, including tiny boots. In AD 19, Caligula's father died under suspicious circumstances, and his mother was banished from Rome by Emperor Tiberius. Caligula and his siblings were sent to live with their grandmother, the formidable Livia Drusilla, who had been the wife of Emperor Augustus. Caligula's childhood was marked by instability and trauma, with his family torn apart by political intrigue and suspicion. Rise to power. In AD 37, Emperor Tiberius died, and Caligula's uncle, the feeble-minded and unpopular Gaius, became emperor. After only a few months on the throne, Gaius was assassinated by members of the Praetorian Guard, the elite troops who guarded the emperor. According to some accounts, Caligula was among the conspirators who killed his uncle, although this is disputed. Regardless of whether Caligula was involved in the plot, he emerged as the new emperor, taking the name Augustus and the title of Pontifex Maximus, or High Priest. At first, Caligula was hailed as a hero, with crowds cheering him in the streets and senators praising his virtues. However, it was not long before Caligula began to display the erratic and cruel behavior that would come to define his reign. Reign of Terror. Caligula's reign was marked by a series of scandals, atrocities, and extravagances that horrified and captivated the Roman people. He is said to have indulged in all manner of vice and debauchery, including incest, bestiality, and murder. He reportedly slept with his sisters, had sex with the wives of his friends and allies, and even appointed his horse, Incitatus, to the rank of consul. Caligula's cruelty was equally notorious. He had people tortured and killed for the slightest offense, and he delighted in humiliating and degrading his enemies. He is said to have ordered the execution of thousands of people, including senators and members of the nobility. He also declared himself a god and demanded that people worship him, a move that alienated many of his subjects. Perhaps the most infamous act of Caligula's reign was his decision to declare war on the sea. He ordered his troops to march to the shoreline and attack the waves, in a fit of madness that has become emblematic of his rule. He also embarked on a series of grand building projects, including a bridge that connected Rome to the Temple of Jupiter, and a palace that covered several hills in the city. Assassination and Legacy. In AD 41, Caligula was assassinated by members of the Praetorian Guard, who had grown tired of his excesses and brutality. His death was met with a mixture of relief and horror, and he was succeeded by his uncle, Claudius. Caligula's legacy was a mixed one, with some regarding him as a tyrant and madman, while others saw him as a victim of circumstances or a misunderstood ruler. In the centuries that followed, Caligula became the subject of numerous myths and legends, some of which persist to this day. One of the enduring myths about Caligula is that he appointed his horse, Incitatus, to the rank of consul. While there is some evidence to suggest that Caligula was fond of his horse and treated it as a pet, there is no proof that he ever actually gave it a political office. Another myth is that Caligula had a bridge built across the Bay of Naples that was so long it reached all the way to the island of Capri. While there is no evidence that such a bridge was ever built, it is possible that Caligula did attempt to build a bridge or causeway across the bay, as he was known to be fond of grand building projects. Despite the myths and legends that surround Caligula, it is clear that his reign was a dark and turbulent one. He ruled with a capricious and cruel hand, delighting in the suffering of others and indulging in all manner of excess and debauchery. His legacy is a cautionary tale about the dangers of absolute power, and a reminder that even the most powerful rulers are subject to the whims of fate and the limitations of human nature.